Okay, today is we're going to kind of take a sidebar on these lessons. It's not going to compute for you who might watch these videos. Again, I'm not holding my breath on these videos. I've been doing this for 10 years and have yet to get anybody interested in what I have to say about these killers that are amongst us. If I continue to show you and open your eyes and train you and enlighten you about the absolute darkness that is leading these kids and these men toward killing in mass and crowd murder, it's not going to do any good if you don't believe it. If you don't believe that they're here. As long as it's talked about and they're off in the Littleton, Colorado, or Connecticut, or Maryland, or off in San Bernardino, or Isla Vista, or Aurora, or wherever they may be, wherever they're at. As long as they're distances away that are never close to you, you're going to live in what's called denial, a strong denial. Denial is one of the most road-blocking emotions that we have, because it blocks the emotions to believe that there is danger amongst us. As long as the danger is not present and you don't believe that it's actually going to affect your family, you will do little to take this stuff and run with it. This is knowledge that you need to have and you need to possess. You need to believe they are here. They are here. These bad guys are here, present right now amongst us. For everyone that shows up and is killed, there are no less than 30. There are no less than 30 that are lying in wait in just the immediate area, the immediate state that you live in. It doesn't matter. Name a state. There are at least 30 killers in that state ready to spring from cover at any given moment. How do I have these stats? It would blow your mind if you honestly knew in a month's time how many people you pass on the interstate, in the grocery aisle, walking through CVS, in the theater house, at the schoolyard. How many people you pass that are there or going there with ill intention to murder and kill? They just don't do it. They cowered out. They changed their mind. There's not enough bravado. They're not quite convinced. They still have a moral thread tied to them. There's something that's tugging at them. Maybe it's grandma still praying for them to not be any crazier than what they already are, or not be any weirder than what they already are. They might be the most sanest A student on planet Earth, and you never know that they're there. And because you don't know that they're there, and because they don't show up in your neighborhood, or in your area, or in your school, or in your theater, or in your pizza joint, or at your football game, because they don't show up there, you continue to live in a denial that they won't show up. But let me tell you, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. That's a bad way to do things. It's just to sit around and wait for them to pop up and kill. You need to make preparations now. Now, get out of this denial. First of all, stop denying that they are here. They are here. They're here. Remember that movie Poltergeist, when the little girl sat in front of the TV set and it was all snowy? And she said, "They're here." Well, they're here. They're here. And they're moving amongst us, and they're pissed off, and they're angry. And I doubt few of them are really taking care of childhood traumas. I'm sure there's a few that childhood pain is part of it, but I honestly believe these kids are just copycatting. They're copycatting. They're getting too many good results with no military training, no training whatsoever. And what they're doing is they're copycatting the mechanics of the killer before them, able to emulate his every move, because the talking heads that post-killing, if it bleeds, it reads, so they drone on and on and on. Bobby Joe was this, he was that, lived here, did this, and all the mechanics of it. Then when they talk about, well, he got in his car and he went to this parking lot. He parked because they weren't able to see him from the school when he entered the school. He entered through a door that nobody would ever check or think he would go through. He entered through that door. He went to the cafeteria. He knew it was 11:30 that everybody would be there, so he showed up. Or he went to Miss Oliver's class because it was full of... He knew. He knew. He followed the mechanics of the previous killer. He knew. Different location, same mechanics. How can these guys go on a 5-minute spree and do the damage that they do unless there's something here, there's a missing piece of this puzzle? And that missing piece is they're carbon copying the previous killer's mechanics. This guy rolls out, he gets to the school. He gets to the school. He walks into school. He walks this way. He does this. He He reloads here. He shoots X amount of rounds here. Then he exits the school and he either surrenders or he's killed himself. And then boom, the very next one comes on scene. He comes on. He drives to the school. He walks in the school. He does this. He goes around to this class. He goes out here. He does, and he's killed or he surrenders. Boom. Next one comes along. I mean, am I the only one seeing this? These aren't kids that are also troubled and we can't reach out to them. There is so much ability nowadays in America to reach out with medication. We have the smartest people on the planet living in America telling us about mental health, telling us about gun control, telling us about students marching, telling us about how to be better cops, how to be better citizens, how to be better this, how to success, how to flip houses, how to flip cars, how to flip people, how to flip everything and make money, how to be a millionaire, come up out of the ghetto, come up out of the trailer park, come up out of this, be rich, be a rap star, be a movie star, be a this, be a that. But we don't have not one person on this planet telling us with believable facts that these dudes are here. That these guys are here. And they're present. We don't have enough people on this planet right now that are zeroing in on these troubled youth, trying to get them to get untroubled, trying to get them to speak out. We're not doing it the right way. There are ways to get ready for this. But until we get to the point where we're not denying their presence, we're going to sit around with our hands in our pockets and we'll just wait for them to pop up. I gave you this warning before. I'm going to give it to you again. If you have school-age children and you're able to go to their school an hour, 2 hours after it has started, you're able to get out of your car in that parking lot and just walk into the school and walk through the front door, wave it off for a resource officer if there's even one there. If you're able to go into that school and take a dip right or dip left or go straight and walk all the way to the end of one of those long hallways, all the way to the very end, 200 feet to the very end, without anybody stepping out and saying, "Hi, may I help you? Who are you? Oh, whose parent are you? Whose mother are you? Whose father are you?" And you go all the way to the other end of that hallway and open that door. And nobody comes and checks you. And you don't set an alarm off. And there's no sign there saying alarm will set off if you open this door. And there's no camera checking you. You can shut that door, walk all the way back to your car, get in your car and leave. And you haven't spoken to nobody. Nobody has challenged your presence. Please, I'm begging you, keep your kids home and homeschool them. Keep your kids home and homeschool them. The reason why is because that is a target. That will be a target. Heaven forbid. But if there's ever a target that is put on a list, east side, and that killer goes down that list, he says, well, this is no good because they got 3 resource officers. This is no good because I don't have a good plan. This is no good because the buses get there late. This is no good because I can't make an entrance. This is no good because too many teachers at the start. This is a perfect target. Why is that a perfect target? Because he did his homework on it. He went there, unarmed, like a regular older brother picking his sister up, knew a name, had a name, went in there and walked from one end to the other, and nobody talked to him, nobody challenged him, he might even be a high school just belonging to him, might just fit there. He did a surveillance on it. He knows what he's up against. He knows what he's not up against. And I'm telling you the truth, my friends, until you get to the point where you realize they are here. They're here. They're here. They are now stockpiling. Some are at different stages of this journey. Some are stockpiling. Some are just beginning to get the seed of violence moving along, where it's becoming a thing of possessiveness. Where he might have bought a rifle, or he might own a pistol, he might own something that he's going to use, something that he's planning to use in a devilish way. But that's where he's at with that. So then there's another one. This guy's already got 2 assault rifles, 2 AR-15s propped up. He loves them. He looks at them. He polishes them. He shines them. He's bought 600 rounds of ammunition. He's already got the makings for a firebomb, for a firestorm of hell's fury. He's already got but he hasn't quite got the bravado yet. He hasn't quite got to that point where he's saying, I can do this, I can do this. But a few more dead killers will convince him. They'll pull him right over the cliff. When he sees that he's 22 years old and the last killer was 24, or 26 or 18 or 42 or 56 or whatever he was. But he was the last killer. He was the last hero. This is what this guy's watching. So he sits glued to his devil vision, and the talking heads just, oh, they da 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 yeah, on and on and on and on and on. Oh yeah, he was able to do this. He walked in unchecked. He had the checklist. They go down the checklist, the checklist, the checklist, the checklist, and he's sitting there glued to it, watching it, and he's remembering. That's important. That's important. Don't need to know that. That's important. That's important. Don't need to know that. I'm glad I found that out about target selection. I'm glad I found that out about time selection. And then he goes and finds a target in his area. Maybe his school. Maybe the movie theater. Like Holmes in Aurora. And he begins to do a surveillance. Some of them are at that point. They're just out there doing the surveillance. They've got their hardware. They're doing the surveillance. Some have moved a little bit closer to the target. They're already locked and loaded. They've already bought some body armor. They've already bought what they're going to wear to make their entrance or their exit, and then to make their stage entrance, and then the exit from this planet. And some of them, sad to say, are in the car. Some of them get in the car every day, 3 or 4 days, 5 days, a couple of days a week for 2-3 weeks. They get in the car to go, and they're actually driving around with all this stuff in the trunk or in the back, locked, loaded, ready to go. They're in the clothes they're going to wear, and they're just sweating profusely, and there's just something about it. They just can't quite make that leap of faith. They're right on the edge of that cliff to jump into history and then into history books. They want to follow. They want to be just like the rest of them, Klebold and Harris and Cho. They want to be like Paddock. They want to be like Holmes. They want to be like Lanza. They want to be like all these nuts that were out there before. And they're ready to take the jump and jump off that cliff into the history books, but they just can't make that leap yet. But they're going to get coaxed along. It might take another year. It might take another 2 years. It might take another hour. It might take another day. It might be tonight. But the one thing that's encouraging more than anything is that when they are on the move and they're planning this and doing this, nobody is even looking out for them. We say we are, but we're tasking law enforcement and the FBI to do it. Quantico can't put anything together on these guys. Quantico can't put a profile together on these guys. Why? Because it's impossible to find them. Because the one thing they know how to do is they know how to stay off the radar. And how do they do that? They act normal. They live in a world where they don't have to talk to mom and dad. How do you find out if your kid's lying to you? You talk to them face to face, see what his expressions are. We don't talk to our kids. When was the last time, honestly, you talk to your kids face to face if they're over the age of 16? You talk to them with text messages. You don't even talk to them on the phone anymore. Text messages. How are you? I'm okay. LOL. Love you. See you tonight for dinner. Okay. Dinner doesn't happen. They come. They go. You buy Taco Bell. Bring it home. And everybody just divvies up. There's no communication. There's no reality. We don't see what's reflecting back off these people's faces, off these kids' faces, off these men's faces. You look in somebody's face, you used to be able to say, hey man, what's wrong with you? Oh man, I'm having a hard time. You just look in their face and reflect back what you see. Hey man, how you doing? You look like hell. You look rough. Why aren't you? What's up? You don't do that anymore in America. We don't know anything about them until they pop up and kill. Then we know everything. Then we're just told everything. There's kids that are at the edge of that cliff, and there are those that have leaped, weapons and all. And they're just a matter of days, a matter of a week, a matter of a month. Well, I say today is July 25th, 2018. I think within the next 6 days. Of course, I'm going to put this on YouTube today, and nobody will see it until a month from now. I say, hey, that guy said there's going to be a bloodbath, probably in Arizona by the 1st of August, or down in southern Florida, or up in near the Canadian border, or somewhere. Regardless where it is, it's going to happen. Why? Because one of these guys that's in movement, that's in motion, he's not coming, he's already here. Already here, spread out across a nation. You eliminate the elderly and those from 16 and younger, and you leave those adults, you eliminate the women, and you leave just pretty much white males between the ages of 18 and 63 in America. You still got 80 million men that fit that category, 65 million men. people that fit that category. Maybe not that much, but even a million, out of a million, how? Even if you had 1% of a percent, that's 10,000 men, if my math is right. Or 1,000 ready to take the plunge. My God, how many do we need? Out of those 1,000, what if only 200? What if a fourth? What if 20 of them are ready to do it? Across the nation. I mean, really ready to do it, ready to commit. It couldn't get any worse. Wives left them, divorce, trauma, cancer. Who knows? You never know why these men jump off the cliff. You only know that they get an idea for violence, and they get a seed of violence, and they get a taste for this violence by watching the dronings on of the killer before them. So the live killer now is just emulating the dead killer, just caught up in your euphoric haze about the dead killer. Let me just reiterate, they're here. They're here. I can't teach you another thing about how dangerous they are in the shadow and the darkness and what they move in. And if you're not going to believe that they're here, this is all just a bunch of good stuff that you need to hear, that you're going to like, it's going to make you feel good. And oh my God, we're still going to live up on the hill, and we're still going to drive in our airbag cars, and we're going to, close the gate when we go. That's not how it works. You move amongst the public, and that's where it's going to take place, is in the public's eye, in the public arena. These guys aren't coming to your house. It's a different breed altogether. These aren't coming to your house to invade your house. These aren't carjackers. These aren't home invaders. These are crowd murderers. These are crowd killers. That's what their forte is. That's what they're after. They are attracted and attached to the idea of killing crowds. Innocent, crowd of the innocent, the unprotected. We got to harden the targets. I'm going to go into that a little bit later about hardening targets. We need to get more than one resource officer there. We need to get people already suited up. Suited up in full tactical body armor, full tactical helmet, gun at the ready, full tactical, standing at the door in the morning with that weapon. With that weapon, at the ready. Sidearm. Serious firepower, one or two of them. I promise you there won't be a person think about coming to that school. Throughout the entire day, while them kids are in that school, nobody's coming to that school. He's throwing an extra dose of a gun line, paint a yellow line around that school and put signs up it. There will be no warning shots. Anyone showing up here with ill intention or intention of killing or harming our children, we will not shoot. We will not be given a warning. We will shoot you dead. Boom. Hey, little Johnny who wanted to shoot up a school, that's not the school he's going to. He's going to go down the road somewhere else where the school hasn't taken this serious. Well, the school still believes, oh, they're not really here. That guy in Georgia, how does he really know? He doesn't have any kind of formal education. He has no PhDs. Let me tell you something, they're here. Today's July 25th, 2018. By August 25th, 2018, we'll have 2 more shooters pop up. Body count probably close to 16 dead Americans. Probably 30 or 40, 50, 100 wounded. It's going to get brutal. You mark my words when I tell you this. It's going to get brutal. I'm not just teaching you this and spending all this energy. I'm safe where I'm at. My house is protected. I have gates. I have lights. I have cameras. I have dogs. I have 5 big dogs. I have a Rottweiler, the Rhodesian Ridgeback mix. I have a mongrel bulldog mix, and I have another dog. I don't know. They're mixed dogs. And of course I have the most ferocious alpha one is my little Chihuahua, which he stayed in here with me. I have dogs, I have cameras, I have lights, I have signs that warn people, no trespassing, keep out. Deadly force will be used, beware my dog's bite. Now if somebody comes to my house and just ignores, and just opens that gate and comes into my yard, they will be mauled to a miserable death. My dogs will bite them. If they kill all my dogs and survive that, and I see them on my camera and they come into my house with evil intention, I will kill them. Why am I set up like this? Although I may never use it, I am set up like this because I know they're here. It might be only 1 or 2 a year that drive down my road. But when they drive down my road and they look at my house to see if that's a house that they're going to kick the door in, come in and rob and rape and kill and steal and destroy and move on. When they look at my house, they say, oh no, that looks like a crazy white man lives there. And we do not feel like getting killed or dying today. You better start believing they're here. America, I'm telling you, please, I'm imploring you, believe they're here. Believe that they're in the mode, they're in the mood, they're in the position. They're going to move in this darkness that they're in. They can't help themselves. How can they not help themselves? How can they not help themselves? It's their nature. It's the nature. You know the story about the scorpion and the frog. The frog was sitting by the side of the river one day. A scorpion came by. The river was moving along, and the scorpion said, I got to get across the river. You need to take me across the river. The frog said, I ain't taking you across the river. You're a scorpion. You'll sting me. The scorpion said, I won't sting you. Why would I sting you? If you take me across the river and I sting you and you drown, I drown. The frog thought about it. He said, well, that makes sense. He said, okay, well, come on, get on. I'll tell you, the river's not too bad. So the scorpion climbed on. The frog started swimming. The frog was thinking, man, I'd have made me a friend. I'd have made me a scorpion friend. He's wading out there. He got halfway across the river, and he's swimming along. The scorpion's just sitting there just enjoying the view, and they're talking, having a good old time. He gets about 10 feet off the other edge. He's about to let the scorpion off, and he thinks he's made a friend. All of a sudden, the scorpion just starts stinging him. Pow, 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 hitting him in the head, hitting him in the back. The frog's feeling all the poison just start moving through his body. And he's having trouble. He's trying to make it to the shore, but he just feels his body becoming paralyzed. And he starts to sink. And he knows he's going to drown, and he knows the scorpion's going to drown with him. And as he's going under, the last thing he says to the scorpion is, I thought you told me you weren't going to sting me. You lied to me. Why did you sting me? Now we're both going to die. And you know what the scorpion said to him? He said, I'm sorry. It's just my nature. It's just my nature. It's just my nature. These kids don't have killers' natures. I'll go into that in another lesson. These are not natures of killers that they're emulating. What it is, it's the nature of Klebold and Harris. It's copycat. They're emulating the killer before them, who emulated the killer before them, and the killer before them, and the killer before them, and the killer before them. The mechanics of it. Different location, different school, different victims. With reverence and awe and respect. With reverence and awe and respect for the victims. Different victims. But the mechanics and the execution and the arriving and the assault and the firepower and the delivery of it and the knowing how long it takes cops to respond and knowing that if there's no guns there, they have a 15 to 18 minute window and knowing that even when the cops come, they're not just going to come flying in. They're going to stop and suit up. They're going to get ready. But if you have there already people who are already ready, they don't have to necessarily be cops. Bring in some Iraqi vets. Bring in some vets who we won't even give a job to. Bring in some vets that deserve the respect and the loyalty and the honor that we as a nation should give them. They fought our wars. They protected us as American citizens on distant shores and distant deserts and distant jungles. Don't disrespect them anymore by not even letting them have enough credit to get a car or a truck or a house or making them have to work so hard to keep their marriages together. We should be right there. They defended American citizens. Why don't we put them back to work defending these American citizens? Little 6- and 7-year-old kids. I'm sure you could get 500,000 of them just to volunteer right now, just to take up arms and stay at these schools. Why would we not trust them? We trust them enough to send them around the world when they're teenagers. Why can't we trust them now when they're in their 30s and 40s to arm up and stand guard and stand post at these schools and pay them a minimum wage of $500 or $600 a week? They would work for that. I promise you, they would, and do it gladly and do it proudly, like when they served. Be able to congratulate them when you pick your live kid up in the afternoon and you see them standing there posted like the bad boys that they are, that they're the defenders of democracy that they are. These men don't play. They will kill you if you come there to try to hurt them children. They will kill you. And when the bad guys start seeing this will be the first deterrent. This is the first deterrent to stopping this insanity. As long as crowd murder is attractable to troubled people, they're going to keep going after it because of the attraction it has. But when you start showing on the news and the bobbleheads start just babbling away, well, a suspected shooter, crowd killer, murderer showed up today with 5 and was killed. One shot to the head, dead, end of story. All of a sudden, crowd killing in America is going to start to take a little doop. Why? Because it's not attractive. They don't want to go there and get shot at, especially by some retired SEAL, especially by some retired grandpa who flew combat missions over Iraq or Afghanistan, especially some gunner, especially some sergeant, especially some retired Air Force guy or Army guy or Ranger or Marine or Navy guy. Especially by anybody that will return fire. And it's got to be a quick, we've got to be able to meet these guys the minute they pop up. Like whack-a-mole, whack-a-killer. As soon as they pop up within seconds, just somebody's got to return fire. That's the gun control, no gun control, mentally insane, whatever. Mental health, corral them. I don't march. Do what you got to do. I'm all for it. It's all fits in the equation. But for right this very minute, and coming from the mind of a madman, a notorious violent man of violence, the only way you're going to stop these guys, the violence that they showed up with, you've got to take a shot at them. I know that sounds like it's so silly that I keep saying that, but once they're at that point, they have come there. They're fully loaded. We're ready for reload, and they'll reload quick. As soon as they get there, and they've locked and loaded, and they fire that first round, they kill that first child, and they look about the fourth shot. If you could have somebody respond around a corner and just blow a hole out of the concrete behind them, I promise you, it changes everything. I swear to you, on the heads of my children, on my live children's lives, it changes everything in his mind. This is not a professional hitman. This is not a professional soldier. He has had no training on how to be offensive, how to keep coming no matter what, keep firing into the line of fire and keep advancing. He hasn't had any of that training. He's emulating the mechanics. Well, the mechanics don't say nothing about what happens if I take fire. And you know what's going to happen. As soon as somebody shoots at him, he's going to take cover. Getting killed was not in the part of this plan. Once you return fire, it stops the high body count. I promise you, no matter how you believe in this, no matter how you really understand it, we have got to stop being nice to these monsters. Because when we stop being nice and we show them we're serious, and if they show up to kill our children, they will be dealt with unimagined horror themselves. They will die. All of a sudden, it's not going to be that big of an attraction for them. They're going to find something else to do to make a statement. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But it won't be crowd killing and school shooting. It won't be showing up at the theater and open fire. Not when somebody can come out with a license carry and kill them, or shoot at them. That's the deterrent right there. That's the deterrent. It don't have to be citizens. It doesn't have to be teachers. No, that's right. We don't have enough money for the overtime or the money to pay these guys to suited up resource officers at the school ready to open fire on a bad guy. You know what I do? I'm going to tell you what. You think you don't have the money. You think you don't have the firepower. But you let one of these clowns show up to an unprotected school and kill 12 children and wound 7 or 8 people. You let them show up. And then all of a sudden, it's amazing how you have the money. You have the money then for the cops to show up. Everyone that's off duty shows up. They all go to that scene. And police are, I'm not saying that it's law enforcement. Law enforcement has protocol.